Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's webinar. We are going to be talking about igniting your PAX adventure with some strategic recruiting. One thing we know is that in the fall, families are looking for activities for their kids to belong to, for their kids to sign up for. And we want to make sure that scouting is on the top of that list. There are just a lot of opportunities to reach out to these families in the beginning of the year, back to school night, meet and greet, a lot of other events that we can be taking advantage of. Tonight, we are going to be talking about some of those ideas and giving you some best practices to promote your PAC, but more importantly, giving you some best practices that you can recruit a ton more Cub Scouts for your unit. And we do have resources that we'll be sharing with you at the end of the webinar. I do want to make sure everyone knows that the webinar is being recorded and that everyone should be muted at this point. At the end of the webinar, we will be having questions, and at that point, you will be unmuted. So we're going to do some introductions. Hi, I want to introduce myself. I'm Mary Jo, and I am the Vice President of Membership.
I'm Emily Davis. I'm the Advancement Chair with Troop 919.
I'm James Barlow. I'm a commissioner working with the membership team.
I'm Gabrielle Hillgrove. I am the Vice President of Marketing for the Council.
And I'm the person you can't see, Kevin Nichols, Scout Executive. And if Tom, we can see you, if you could raise your thumb that you can hear us. Thank you.
Great. So we're going to be talking about a Scout joining event. If you don't have that scheduled yet, you need to have it on your calendar now. New school year is starting soon, and you need to be prepared to welcome new families into your unit. So our first topic tonight is going to be promoting your PAC and join event. So Gabrielle, you're on first.
All right, so let's talk about promoting your joint event and your unit. Getting prospective scouts to your event and getting their families with them is paramount. We're going to talk about how to do this through community events, flyers, yard signs, school involvement, and social media, because they can't join you if they don't know about you. So first thing we're going to talk about is community events. Community events are things like parades, national night out, even standing in front of a store with popcorn. It could be a ready to learn fair. It could be a movie night in the park. Community events take on a lot of different shapes. What they do is they allow your unit to be out and visible so people know about you. If you happen to have a community event where you're going to have a table set up, the council and the membership team has created a community event in a box. You check this out with your paid professional. So that's going to be Brian, Bill, Andy, and it's going to have an activity ready for you to do. It's going to have a sign-up sheet because there's no use people coming to talk to you if you can't follow up with them. The activity is going to be fun. You can do it with multiple people, and it's going to be fast, and it's not going to involve paint drying. So that's what you're going to get in the community event in a box. Whatever event you're doing in the community, make sure you're wearing your uniform. That can be your Class A uniform for a parade, your Class B uniforms. Do not discount the value of having your Class B uniforms when you're doing a community service project like pulling weeds, or when you are out having your first PAC meeting in a park when it's still nice and you've got 20 scouts running around on a playground afterwards. So we also want to talk about flyers. So flyers get your information out. There's a lot of ways to do this. You can create your own flyer. You can leverage the BSA Brand Center. They have pre-made flyers, but they also have graphics that you can use. We're going to have a whole QR code resource place for you to get all the things you want, but some of the resources are mentioned here on the bottom left. You also probably want to use Canva or Adobe Express if you are not graphically inclined. They will make everything beautiful and they're super simple. Let's talk about flyers. So PAC 95, if you're on here, I'm going to pick on you a little, sorry. Have a QR code on your flyer. This can go to a website, a sign-up sheet, an events page, your Be a Scout pin, whatever you think is appropriate. You also want to make sure that you are telling people who is welcome to join your unit. If you're a family pack or not, remember, your flyer is going to be talking to people who may not know about the program. They may not know girls are allowed in scouting. They may not know we allow kindergartners. Make sure your flyer tells the information you need. Make sure your flyer tells who you are, Cub Scout Pack 95. If they lose the flyer, but they remember your number, they go to beascout.org and that gigantic list of names comes up. They might recognize you and know who to talk to. You're also going to want contact information on your flyer. I recommend using an email that is either from a free service like Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, or associated with your website, instead of a personal email for your current Scoutmaster, current Cub Master, current committee chair, current new member coordinator, simply because that email then can transfer from volunteer to volunteer every year. And should something happen and someone contact you 2 years from now, which has happened, that email will definitely go through. Few things that aren't on this flyer, which I do think is awesome. Where do they meet? So I've gone out, I got this flyer from Pack 95. I don't know if they meet 5 minutes from my house. I don't know if they meet 35 minutes from my house. And also times. So they have a join night on September 10th in Pine Meadow Park. Well, that's awesome. I don't know if I'm just supposed to camp out from 3 to midnight or what. So this is a great flyer. It shows it's a very active pack. Just a couple of things that you probably want to make sure that you are talking about. So when we're talking about flyers, and here's some more great examples from our units. If you submit your flyer to the council, they will submit it to Peach Jar for the applicable school districts. If you go to the recruitment resources webpage on our website, you will see a submit to Peach Jar button. Beascout.org doesn't really pertain to flyers, but what you'll find is that a lot of the stuff off of Brand Center sends people to beascout.org. Our website, the council's website, sends them to beascout.org. Make sure your pin's updated. Don't let someone not be able to find you because your pin's not updated. Kids Insider Magazine is primarily a Whatcom County thing. You can talk to Andy to get your information and learn how to do that. Post on social media, your unit page, community pages. So by community pages, simply go into Facebook and search Frylands in Monroe, Mill Creek, Bellingham, Oak Harbor. They're all going to have community pages. Read their rules, post there. You can post on Nextdoor, create a Facebook event, submit to community magazines. Linwood Today will oftentimes, if it's a nonprofit and you send them an event, they will publish that event on their Facebook page. And then online calendars. So Ghost Gadget and Bellingham, I both know, have free online calendars that you can go and submit your event. And then let the council know about your joint event. The council will create an event on our Facebook page. We will then add money around that event, geofenced in your area to try to drive traffic to your joint event. On the subject of flyers, this one's a little different than the others we've looked at because this is a half sheet and it's 2 pages. So the first page, again, everything we need to know, boys, girls, ages, where they're at. The second page, they talk about Adventure Day at Fire Mountain, another great recruiting tool. And then they talk a little bit about their pack. So we've got 2 pages to a side of paper. Let's make sure we're using all the real estate we can when we're talking about our unit and trying to get people to come join us. Yard signs. This one's easy. Make it large enough to read. I should not get in an accident trying to read your yard sign. I should not have to get out of my car and squint trying to read your yard sign. Brand Center has some great graphics that you can just download, send them to a printer, you're good to go. You can make your own. You can even write your own, get one of those big fat pens that used to smell really bad, big bold letters, and put it out in the yard. Put it in front of your charter door, put it in front of the elementary schools, put it in your yard, put it in everybody's yard in your family. Whoever you put a sign there, do it. Get involved in your school. Again, this is about visibility. People may not know scouting's around. People may not know there's a scouting unit near that. School service projects, pull weeds. A lot of maintenance teams don't pull weeds anymore, or certainly don't pull them as often as the principal would like them to. Flag ceremonies, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, anything that gets you visible in the school. And both of those things get you to know your school principal and your school administrative assistant. Make friends with them. There are certain things that the school district says no to, but there are certain things that the principal has leeway on. So make friends with them. And then you can get into the schools, perhaps in an easier way. But know your PTA president. Newsletters, a lot of PTAs still send out newsletters. Find out when that publication date is. Talk to the PTA president and the marketing person for the PTA and get your event in there. Help at events, gingerbread building night, movie night, whatever it is. Stand there in uniform, handing stuff out. It's a visibility thing. Remember, joining happens mainly in September and October, but we can join year round. Back to school nights, meet and greet in a box. So the marketing team has created meet and greet in a box. You check these out from your paid professional, you show up, you unbox it, and you have everything you need for a table. And easy to go. If you don't know if your meet and greet table is correct, we also have a checklist on the website. DIY your own meet and greet box. So lots of ways we're trying to help you. And one of them is this joint event form. This form is how you're going to let the council know you're having an event so that the council can promote it. If you've already used the form that was up there, we have that information we're going to get you, but this is the new way. It goes back to your respective paid professional, Brian, Bill, Andy, and then the membership team gets it. This is how you check, this is how you get flyers from the council. This is how you check things out from the council. But what this also does is it tells us if there's a way we can help. We want you to succeed. We want you to be successful. We want you to have a great join night. And this is one of the ways that the membership team can help you out by looking at what you submit here. Let's talk a little bit about social media. So public organization page is probably going to be your best bet if you want to run ads. This is a little different than a group page or a general page, and group pages and public pages actually work really well together. So if you already have a group page, then don't worry, set up another page and they'll be great friends. But you're going to want to create a Facebook event and geofence around that event. So you're going to geofence around where the event's happening, geofence around where you normally meet if it's different. And if neither one of those are the elementary school nearest you, geofence around your elementary school. And then start thinking outside of the box. Moms are typically who bring the information to the family. So start thinking, where do they hang out? Starbucks, Woods Coffee, Dutch Brothers, Target, YMCA, the gym. Pick locations near you like that and geofence around them. And look at the appropriate radius. If you're me, I have 5 elementary schools within 1.5 miles of my house in 2 different school districts. A lot of you now know where I live. I can't geofence 10 miles around my elementary school. I geofence 2 miles around my elementary school and start targeting those other locations. Make sure you're defining it. You're going to spend money. Don't let that money go to people who aren't going to be relevant to your ad. Make sure you're looking at the parents, looking at the interest. Make sure you're targeting that as well as you can. The right-hand side will tell you who's going to be getting that information. And geofencing is simply telling that ad, I only want you to deliver here. I don't want you to deliver to New Jersey. I don't want you to deliver to Walla Walla. I don't even want you, if I'm in Bellingham, to deliver to Everett. I want you to deliver within a specific geographical radius from my defined audience. And again, Brand Center has videos, they have graphics. They're a great resource. All right. And finally, engage your parents. So these are all graphics from Brand Center. This frame that you can put on social media, put your unit in there, send it to every parent you have, tell them to post it on their social media. These are peer-to-peer cards. They are fillable. You can download them, fill them out, print them, cut them apart in the time it takes you to watch a 30-minute sitcom. You're also going to want to ask your parents to post about the fun they're having and post about the joint event. Ask them to have cards when they're standing there this first week of school and everyone's standing around under the covered area trying to wait for their kids to come out. Because the fact is, you can do all the flyers you want. You can pay all the promotions you want. And those are great. And those will get you people. Being in the community will get you people. The fastest way to get someone to come to your unit is for a personal recommendation and a personal invitation. to come visit you. All right, well, that's what I have on promotion. I'm happy to take questions a little later on, but I think now we're gonna talk about what it takes to, that's, like I said, all the QR codes. I said we'd have QR codes. You're gonna have to cover them with your hands to scan. We are recording this and we will post this, so you guys will see all this. But I think we're gonna talk about what it takes to host an effective joint event.
Thank you, Gabrielle. And again, I know we're seeing some good questions in the chat box. And at the end of the webinar, you'll get a chance, we'll unmute everyone and you'll get a chance to ask questions. And we'll have the appropriate volunteer here answer those questions. So you've got all the information on how to get your event promoted. And I really recommend that you make sure you do your promotion. Proper promotion is going to save you time. So you promoted your event, now what happens? Okay, we know a lot of units in school districts are holding come and go events. They're events where people come in, they sign up, and then they leave. Parents are busy and they need to get their child signed up for an event or an activity. We're going to give you a model that is a 5-station method that is a come and go event. It is a joining event where they come in, they get signed up, they get the information, and then they go on. It's going to give them a positive experience with scouting. It may be that first initial contact they have. So this has been a very, very proven method. We do know that units across the council do things differently, and you need to do what works for your unit. Everything is going to be tweaked just a little. So hopefully you'll leave here with some great things that you can implement with your unit. You'll notice the Join Cub Scouts. People need to know where you are. You've promoted your event. You've got your event happening. Make sure you have a sign outside so they know what door to go in. They know, oh yes, this is the place where the sign up night is. So there are these Join Cub Scout signs that are available from the council. But make sure not only you promoted your event, but you've got marked where parents need to go. And a lot of people are needing help. And so if you're a Cub Scout pack, you should be reaching out to your troops to help you. So don't hesitate to ask a troop. The scouts love to come in and run some games. So get help for your joint event. It's there, and it's there for the asking. So we're going to go to station number 1. So you've got your room set up. You've got 5 stations with signs. You've got someone at each station. So station number 1, what happens? This is where they get welcomed, they get greeted. You can see we have a nice sign-in sheet. Make sure they fill out the sign-in sheet. And you'll notice at the top it says, please print. Encourage them to print so you can read the information. This is very valuable because you'll find not necessarily every family will sign up at your joint event. And this way you have a list of everyone who showed up and you'll be able to contact the families afterwards. We do want to recommend having a QR code out. QR codes are the way of the future, and at every station you can have a QR code. It's going to make your registration easier. It's just an advantage that every unit should be taken care of. Should be taking advantage of. So you're going to tell the families what's going to happen and the process. And this is where the youth can go off with some of the scouts with the troop or with some of the leaders, and they can go play a game while the parents are going to go through the different stations and get signed up to be part of your unit. Number 2, station number 2. I think this is the really fun station. You're selling. What do we do in Cub Scouts? What is it your pack has going on? Make sure you have someone there who is excited about your upcoming calendar and can talk about all your upcoming pack activities. It'll be an opportunity to introduce some leaders. So have more than one person there. Maybe you can have 2 or 3 there. An opportunity to talk about what makes your pack special. You always want to leave time at every station for some questions. One thing they do recommend is at this station, have a welcome packet, maybe just a sign-in or a sheet that says welcome to the pack that you see on the right there. But you want to start giving them something that they'll be able to take home. Also, you can have a sample uniform, let them know what they're going to need. You can have your pack t-shirt out. Some packs will share that they have a uniform bank with lots of experienced uniforms. And once they get signed up, they can come back and get that experienced uniform. So this is where you sell scouting, and you're going to sell your unit. So make sure you got the right people at this station. It's the right person at every station you need. At this station, you need someone who is good with detail, because this is where they're going to sign up. And you see it says QR code down there. If they have their phone with them, they can go to that QR code and they can fill out the application right there. Really recommend, if you can get people to go use a QR code and sign up online, it's going to make your job easier. It makes it easier on the council. It's just simply slick. They fill everything out. They make the payment. You don't have to worry about any of that. And you have a new member. It is important to discuss exactly what the fees are and what they cost. So make sure you're prepared to talk about that. You may want to talk about how your unit raises money. I think most of the Cub Scout packs do sell popcorn. Make sure you let families know that there is financial assistance. We don't want any family leaving because they feel they cannot afford scouting. There is assistance for every family that needs help. If you do not have a copy of the Opportunity Fund, make sure you reach out to your professional and get a copy of that Opportunity Fund and have it handy. I do want to talk a little bit more about incentives for popcorn and registration fee. One thing I love about the pack I'm in is if they sell X amount of popcorn, they don't pay a cent for registration. The pack pays their registration and activity fee. So it's a real encouragement for our units to our families to get out there and sell popcorn. And it makes scouting extremely reasonable when they don't have to put any money out. So, okay, now we're out down to the next page. This is where, again, another detailed person. If you have used the paper applications, you need to make sure that every box is filled out. There's nothing worse than coming home and finding out you don't have a birthday, you don't have an email, you don't have the grade, and then you've got to call and get that information. Again, if you use that QR code and you sent them there and had them do it online, you're good as gold. They'll get every box filled in. Paper applications, the Cub Master does need to sign them. So make sure that that happens. If you're doing paper applications, you'll need to collect your fees, the membership fee and the activity fee, and make sure every one of your scouts gets Scout Life. It is just the best magazine. I know my son just waited for Scout Life magazine to come. So every scout should get Scout Life magazine. So again, want to emphasize opportunity funds. If a family is using opportunity funds, we will need a paper application to go along with that opportunity fund. And those get turned in directly to the council office. And there is an opportunity fund form online if they would like to prefer to do it that way. So they're checking out here. Again, earlier I talked about handing them a packet. Make sure they have something that they're going home with. You don't want them going home and not knowing what's going on. They've just signed up. They've just put out the money for scouting and they need to know what happens next. So let's go to the next slide, Kevin. Oh, I do want to talk a minute about membership fees. These are the current fees for scouting. It is $85 for the registration membership fee and $85 for the activity fee. And then your $15 for the Scout Life. And again, there's a link for the assistance for the opportunity funds. And as you know, August 1st last year, membership started going on just a yearly cycle. So you may have families that are needing to do their enrollment now. So that's just something that's new from last year. And I know a lot of us are dealing with getting our existing families re-registered. Adult fees, you got your fees there and pretty straightforward. Okay. Okay, here is where the excitement is. You've got a Cub Scout, you've got a new member of your unit. So this is question and answer time for the families. After going through the various stations, they are going to have questions. No matter what, I guarantee you they will have questions. Again, have some den leaders on hand. You want to make sure at every station that you're being very welcoming, greeting the families along the way. Welcoming families is so critical in this first event. If the den leader is there, if you have a wolf signing up and the wolf den leader is there, introduce them. Nothing is better than knowing who your new leader is going to be. And we talked about sending something home. Again, parents are going to want to know, I've signed up. Now what happens? Where do I go? When's my next meeting? What activity is going to go on? Maybe your join night was on a Wednesday and the pack has a hike on Saturday. You better make sure you have a handout that says the hike is Saturday. It's going to be, we're meeting at Deception Pass at 9 o'clock. This is what you need to bring. Keep your brand new families informed. Make sure they go home with something in their hand and make sure what they go home with does have a contact information. So, yay, you've got some new Cub Scouts. So you've got new families coming into your unit and you've welcomed them and it's time to go to the next step. And Emily Davis is actually an expert on getting new families integrated into a unit. So she's going to talk about onboarding new families.
I would say that our true expert is Joey, who's out in the audience, but since she couldn't be here tonight to lead it, I've got the job. The next part with onboarding new families is going to be crucial, where you sit down either with a new member coordinator or someone in the pack who has that job to bring families on. And you generally don't want the child to be in this meeting, so mom and or dad can focus on the conversation about what's happening. I have found it's useful to have contact information, a page or two. I try to keep it to one page front and back that has the calendar for the year with dates, times, locations, if you have them, so that a family goes home with a piece of paper that tells you where to be every month for the next 12 months if you have your calendar in hand. I also like to have a QR code again, so that you can send them to the online information or a placard that they can scan right away when they're there, because that piece of paper will get lost. It's important to have unit contact information, whether it's your pack email or phone numbers for the den leader or the Cub master and committee chair, and given locations for things like the different den meetings and the pack meetings. It's also helpful to let parents know in that welcome meeting how they should dress. When they are coming to a PAC meeting or a DEN meeting, should they be in their Class A uniform? But if you're going hiking in the woods or camping, should they be in their Class B so that they're appropriate? Mary Jo covered the membership fees, but also it's helpful to discuss unit dues in this meeting because many units have an additional fee that covers resources for going camping, for purchasing supplies for their meetings and activities, or for additional rental rooms, et cetera, for activities that they'll have throughout the year. Oftentimes, parents will have signed up for Cub Scouts and have no idea how it works. The great thing with Cub Scouts is we all know it's based on elementary school level, so we don't have to figure out where they're at. It's if you're in kindergarten, you're a lion. If you're in third grade, you're a bear. If you're in fifth grade, you're an arrow of light. And we know now that DENs, if you're a family pack, you can have a mixed gender up through fourth grade, and the AOLs are individual. But parents then also will want to know, how does buddies work? So at that point, if they're going off, it's single genders are their buddies. Just making sure that parents know that and that you're recruiting moms if you're a family pack and you have girls so that you always have mom who is there. And I've had parents say, well, the pack, I came to a pack meeting, there's 40 of them. That's just so many. And it's nice to know that a DEN is generally 4 to 8 kids. It could be more, it could be less, but it's much less overwhelming to have that size. And then that leads into making sure parents know the difference between a PAC meeting and a DEN meeting. That your DEN meetings are usually 2 to 3 times a month where you're working on their rank advancement and all of the activities that they're doing together to learn and grow, and that each year, each level builds on the previous year. And that a PAC meeting is coming together to do a fun welcoming activity, opening, and then you are rewarding them and sending them home with all of their loot for all the things that they have earned in the last month. And making sure parents know that they should be coming and celebrating and enjoying rather than it's being a drop-off event. Cub Scouting is not just for the child, it is for the whole family. So it's helpful for new parents to know who is who in the pack. If you have a question, I like to think of it as front of house and back of house, that the Cub Master is front of house. They are front and center and leading all of the youth activities when you're in a pack setting. But oftentimes you've got the committee chair behind the scenes who's in charge of adults. They're in charge of making sure that we're registered for places, that we're doing recharter. If you have a question that is structural, it's usually the behind the scenes to see the committee chair. It's helpful for them to know who is their specific DEN leader, or if there's an assistant DEN leader or a DEN chief or a DENer who will be involved in the unit. And making sure that they understand the different roles that everybody has. And then obviously, if you're the new member coordinator, they know who you are so that they come to you with new questions. Or if you're not going to be there, who is the volunteer that's the point person to go to for new questions. Beyond that, making sure they always know there's always room for more volunteers, whether you're there in a structured role as the secretary, treasurer, advancement, or if you want to be in charge of cupcakes for Blue and Gold, or you want to be in charge of volunteer opportunities or extra outings. My rule when I had kids at that age level, it's still true at the troop level, every parent helps. I required from the time my children were in first grade through the time they were in fifth grade, every parent came to the meeting and they jumped in, whether I said, hey, we're cutting this out, have a pair of scissors. Or I had a parent who came and taught us about Ramadan so that our children learned. Sometimes it's nice to see if they'll assist at meetings or if they want to come in and teach us about something that's near and dear to their heart, or if they want to look at the advancement book and say, yes, I want to teach this rank. I want to teach this piece of the puzzle. And at the troop level, because I live in a girl troop, we have a sign-up genius to make sure that at every event, we will have one female. And that way you can help spread the wealth for who the parents are going to be on outings who are registered and trained. And last is the PAC calendar. It should live online if you have a Google. I'm not good about this, but to have a Google where all the events are, and you can send invites to parents so that they can say yes or no that they're coming, and it will remind them that they're supposed to show up, or that they can then cancel and you know that they're not coming. It's easy for that reference and the reminders. A paper sheet is helpful. Sign Up Genius is great for any big party or event you're going to have, so you have a head count and you can assign tasks to people. I think that's all I have.
Okay, you have promoted your event. You've had lots of families come and sign up and join your Cub Scout pack. You've gotten them to the first meeting and you kind of onboarded them, you've let them know the ins and outs of Cub Scouting. And you need some more volunteers. James is gonna talk to you about recruiting volunteers.
All right, and as you can imagine, this is a topic we could spend half a day on, so just to expand on it a little bit. We've all been in the situation where suddenly a unit is left with 2 or 3 families that are basically filling every position. And the most important way to avoid that problem is to be proactive about this from the first moment you're encountering new families. Always remember that we're recruiting a lot of folks who have no experience with scouting, and they don't know, is this like T-ball where I drop off my kid and I come back an hour and a half later? Or is this like piano lessons where I'm sitting in the room the whole time? So from the first moment you're getting them engaged, set those expectations. That way, as they're getting their sea legs with the pack, you can eventually match them with a better position, so that every family, like Emily was saying, is contributing. A lot of packs charge pack dues, and everyone understands, well, you need money to run a pack. Emphasize we need volunteer time to run a pack too, and everyone needs to contribute for that. One of the things that a strong pack committee can do is to list out all of the different roles, many of which do not come with a patch or a training module that a pack needs. Put it down in writing, exactly what that position entails, and try to list a few parents that are crossing or entering the pack to figure out who would be good fits with that. The least effective way of filling those positions is to stand up at a pack meeting and say, we need help with this, come talk to me after the meeting if you're interested. The next least effective is to just send out an email and say, please email me if you're interested. Get to know the families that are joining your pack, get to know their skill sets, what they're good at, and make a targeted ask to specific individuals once you feel like you found a good spot for them. In the meantime, give them small tasks to keep them engaged. Can you pick up these supplies for the first pack meeting? Can you be the third adult in the room for this pack meeting? That way, at least they're contributing their time to the pack, and then it's easier to transition them into an ongoing role. But definitely work as a pack to come up with a list for all those roles. Even for smaller packs of 15 to 20 kids, it's very easy to come up with 15 to 20 adult roles that you'll need. Building that culture of every family contributing volunteer time is much easier if you start it when they first enter the pack. Once you've built up 30 kids in the pack and only 2 or 3 families are running it, it's a lot tougher to break those habits. On the council website, there's about a 15 to 20 slide PowerPoint with some other tactics over how to do this, example spreadsheets your committee can build, and how to cook up prospect lists for how to make those targeted asks. And I think we're going to go back to Mary Jo now.
Yeah, and you noticed on that last page, there was a QR code, so QR codes are the way of the future, so we'll have a bunch at the end of throughout the rest of the slides. This is a document that if you have not received it from your district, you should. Gabrielle talked about it earlier. It will let the district and the membership committee know, do you need help? We will call and help you. If you've got a great plan, we want to know that too. But we need to know the date your events are, because Gabrielle is going to use that information to do some promotion. And we want to know what type of promoting you're doing. Again, we want to know, do you need flyers? Do you need a meet and greet box? If you haven't gotten this form, reach out to your district, get it filled out, and get it returned. It will help your district help you be successful with recruiting. Want to make sure that everyone has received the flyer about the incentives. We've got a number of units that are really striving to get that ice cream party. In fact, we've got a few that have actually met the 20% increase. So that's kind of exciting. Really want to encourage you to try and reach that number. If you don't have that number, reach out to your district professional and they will have the number for you. Someone from the council will come and put on that party for you. And we also have that recruiter patch incentive, and there's been a number of scouts that have already earned that. And there's a QR code that you can click and takes you to the page where you give us the needed information. Council provided resources. Here's all the things that you can get. Oh, there's a QR code where you can click and get the information. I want to point out number 5, meet and greet boxes. James and I were here at the council office today putting those together. This is going to be a box that call your professional, say, I want one of these. So when you go to a back to school night, it has some sample books. It's got the really nice checkered tablecloth that's going to attract people. It's got some neckerchiefs. It's got some flyers. It's got everything you need to have a nice table display where parents are going to come and want to give you their name and contact information so that you can in turn get them contacted. There's going to be some nice knot boards in there. There's some rope in there that someone can show Sally how to do a square knot. These meet and greet boxes I think are pretty cool and will be an advantage if your unit does not have one. So take advantage of all the things up there and contact your professional for those. Mount Baker Council recruiting resource page. Oh, there's a QR code. And there's all the things that you can get for on the resource page. So take a look through there. Want to point out the Peach Jar for those schools that use Peach Jar on the council website is where you do that submission for Peach Jar. So take advantage of it. The council has paid for that, so it's not anything you need to pay for. And I do also want to point out there's instructions on updating your Be a Scout. I believe we've talked about it a few other times this evening, but make sure your Be a Scout is updated. I will let you know that at this time of year, we are getting 1 hit a day on people wanting to join a unit. So make sure you're up to date. And we're going to have questions. You have questions, we have answers. I've got my contact information up there that you can call me, you can email me. I can get you hooked up with the right person to answer your questions. But right now, if that's the last of our presentation, so we're going to unmute you. If you have no questions, thank you for joining us. The webinar will be on the council webpage. So questions?
Hi. Oh,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
you know my little hand is because I'm looking for my thing across the bottom. I just have one quick question. So with our with back to school nights and that kind of stuff, North Shore, where I am in, is very particular about not getting in the school, but we've been doing everything that you guys have mentioned about like assemblies for the flags. We do community serve days, which is on the Sunday before school starts, and get out. We have our kids wear their Class Bs, and then just a lot of word of mouth. I was wondering if there's any other advice that you have to get, and I do at my kids' school, I do the science fair table for scouts. So I've done it for 2 years, and I have the kids participate in different activities. And that's been one great thing, but it's not happening at all the schools that we have packs at, because we're like 3 different schools. But my PTA just always asked me to do the table. So I was wondering if there's anything else that we could do.
I think you've got some good things. There's that sheet that we're wanting you to fill out, and it's got a list of ideas on there. So if you might find something on there that you could be doing. Does your pack does have a nice flyer, right?
Yeah, I've made them all up. Yeah, I have it all together.
Okay. Are you using social media to put those out?
We will. We just have to confirm our space, and then once that happens, that's being confirmed by tomorrow, and then we can put them out. Yeah.
So you've got a flyer, you're using social media, you're active in your school, yard signs? Do
I
you
don't
use
have yard signs, so I will put that down.
What's your level of engagement with the PTAs at your 3 schools? Like, do you know the PTA presidents? Have you tried staffing any of their events for them?
I don't know. I only know the one at my school, but I can ask my other committee members and also families and see what and ask them if they have any connections. But I know ours, and that's why I can do my stuff at my kid's school.
So I don't know how many people on the call were at the Salish Sea District banquet this year, but a Cub Scout pack did table service. And when the kids love putting on white aprons and with their Cub Scout uniforms underneath. And imagining a PTA group who's never really seen Cub Scouts in action, drawing on mustaches and doing coffee service and everything. The added benefit of engaging with the PTA is that is packed full of families that have already shown that they're interested in being involved in their kids' lives. And those are exactly the types of families that would be interested in scouting. So building a really strong relationship with them, especially because the PTA president is a great backdoor to school principals to help figure out what are we allowed to do inside the schools.
Another thing that we've done is we've got, or we're gonna be doing, we've got our 2 join nights, but one of the join nights is very specifically focused on our current Cub Scouts inviting a friend. We're using that patch incentive to do this invite a friend, and we're noticing we're getting a little traction that the current Cub Scouts are starting to get interested in earning that patch. So we're trying to take advantage of that. With our second join night will be more specifically geared towards inviting a friend and using that incentive. So does that give you some ideas?
It does. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have a question?
It looks like in the chat, Violet wanted to know how many days prior should they notify or submit for the join night info? Is
Yeah.
that for getting paperwork from the council or for the geofencing requirement?
So I was gonna answer Violet. If you can give me 2 weeks notice, that's very, very helpful to create the graphics, get the post created. And we usually like to do at least 1 week prior to your event for the ads. So if you can give me 2 weeks before your date, that lets me work it around my non-scout life. Sorry, guys.
And at this point, every pack should have their join night scheduled.
Mhm.
You should have that date already picked. If you don't, make sure you have a committee meeting really soon and get your join night on your pack calendar.
And I know you said that they can get the form from their professionals.
Yes.
It is also on our website if they
Yes.
want to download it.
I want to download it. Okay.
We have new messages.
Other questions? Oh, and Joey, appreciate you putting the link to the Brand Central. Yes, you can borrow the meet and greet box for join night. Those boxes are for you to check out whenever you want to use them. I will let you know there are only 6 per district. So if you want to use one, I suggest you contact your professional and get that box reserved. And they will be available starting Tuesday, a week from today. They'll be available for checkout.
Can we make the reservation now if I wanted it in October, or can I make the reservation now if I wanted it in 2 days? Does it matter for how much lead time to make the reservation?
I would talk to your professional. I think each district may do things a little bit different. But if you want it in October, personally, I would let your professional know you want it. You know, I want it on October 7th so that you get it reserved. But what we don't know, since this is new, is how each district will be handling the meet and greet boxes. So there may be a little bit of a learning curve. Can we download today's presentation?
So they want a copy of this.
Yes, that will be available for downloading. So. Other questions? Oh, it's pretty easy to fill out the phone, an application on the phone. I don't know any one of you fill out an application on the phone?
I don't know, let's go find out.
She's gonna check it out. We're gonna get a new leader. You know, I've had a family do it and they didn't have any trouble. I'm not the technology person, so I'm not the one to ask. Jennifer says it's pretty easy. So,
Yay.
so thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that. Anyone have a question? Just unmute yourself, shout it out.
Did we state that the presentation will be put on our website, for that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can download the presentation or you can rewatch the webinar.
There was a question there about how to get to.
I think David asked it about the brand center and then Joey posted the
Oh,
link.
Yeah,
earlier.
Joey posted, yeah.
Yeah, the Brand Center has a ton of really good graphic stuff. The other thing is we have hundreds, thousands of pre-printed color flyers with various themes. If you want your pack calendar or your joint event or anything printed in black and white on one side, just email me or your commissioner your info. We'll print those out for you. And like I said, the reverse side is already full color. So we can do a black and white, whatever you want on the other side and get that to you for your events.
And it definitely does look like it's very easy to fill out the form online. It's very responsive, so.
You wanna, we're good with geofencing?
I think so. Anybody have any
Okay.
additional questions about geofencing? Or picking interests or anything?
Well, I think that is no more questions. Want to thank you all for joining us for the webinar. Be sure to save it. Be sure to have your other leaders either look at the download or watch the webinar. The more people in your unit that know how to do the promotion, run the event, get families engaged, recruit volunteers, the better you're going to be. The council membership committee is here to help you. So please don't hesitate to reach out and say, I need help, because we will call you and we will help you with what we can. So we want to make sure that we have a successful recruiting this fall. And a successful recruiting this fall will make your job a lot easier when it comes to your ideal year of scouting. So good luck, adventure on, and recruit. Kevin, anything you want to add?
Well, thanks for everybody, and feel free to give our office a call for support. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.